He still has his ex's nudes. I'm struggling with my emotions and wondering if I have a right to feel this way. This is my first relationship, and it's a bit undefined. We're essentially together, but without official labels. We attend different universities, and the distance complicates things. On top of that, there have been issues like him lying and being on dating apps when we agreed to be exclusive. I acknowledge that I have insecurities, and I usually manage them well, but seeing pictures of his ex-girlfriend triggers feelings of self-loathing. This started when he would frequently mention her, which I found odd, but I understand they were together for 3 years. I learned her name through his conversations and found her Instagram. She could easily be a model for Victoria's Secret, and I'm not exaggerating. She is stunningly beautiful. I'm not saying that I'm unattractive, but I'm certainly not at her level. She's a solid 10 out of 10, while I would rate myself as a 6 out of 10, maybe a 7 on a good day. I'm not ugly, but I don't consider myself beautiful. His friends even referred to him as the one with the attractive girlfriend, and while I don't appreciate that kind of language, I can't deny that they're right. I'm grappling with my emotions and questioning the validity of my feelings. This is my first relationship, and it's somewhat ambiguous. We're essentially together, but without official labels. The long-distance aspect of our connection adds a layer of complexity. Moreover, there have been instances where he has not been entirely forthcoming, such as being active on dating apps when we agreed to be exclusive. I recognize that I have insecurities, and generally, I am adept at managing them. However, seeing images of his ex-girlfriend evokes a sense of self-doubt within me. This feeling emerged when he frequently mentioned her, which struck me as peculiar. Nevertheless, I understand that they were in a relationship for 3 years. I learned her name through his conversations and found her on Instagram. She could easily grace the cover of a magazine, and I'm not exaggerating. She is exceptionally beautiful. I'm not saying that I lack attractiveness, but I certainly don't measure up to her standard. She's a solid 10 out of 10, while I would rate myself as a 6 out of 10, perhaps a 7 on a good day. I'm not unattractive, but I don't consider myself to be stunningly beautiful. His friends have even referred to him as the one with the attractive girlfriend, and while I don't appreciate that kind of language, I can't deny that they're right. The situation troubles me deeply and has led to feelings of inadequacy. I've made every effort to overcome this, and he assures me that he's moved on from her. However, he still retains all her pictures, including explicit ones, despite their breakup occurring well over a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago. Seeing this woman's images has significantly impacted my self-esteem. I am left questioning why he still holds onto her pictures. Am I irrational for feeling upset about this? Could my insecurities be clouding my judgment? Is this a normal reaction? I understand the concept of keeping a few mementos for memory's sake, but maintaining lewd pictures of someone you claim to have no feelings for seems perplexing to me. I'm conflicted. On one hand, things are going well between us. He is humorous and caring. I feel at ease with him, something that is rare for me. For instance, instead of heading home, he chose to stay with me, accompanied me to the store, and we prepared his favorite dishes together to ensure that I ate well. He has shown genuine concern for me during moments of vulnerability, comforting me when I mourned my late father and lending an ear when I needed to vent. He always seems elated to see me. I am inclined to believe that my concerns are unfounded, attributing them to mere figments of my imagination. However, if he truly loved or cared for me, wouldn't he refrain from certain actions? Wouldn't he be eager to define our relationship sooner than December, considering this has been ongoing since February? But it's so hard to try and ignore his lying over the dating apps, how quickly he got with someone else when we split. He wasted no time. Not even a week later he was just with someone else. But fair enough because we weren't together, but it still hurts. It stings because he expressed how he loved me and he wouldn't. It made me doubt the genuineness of words going forth. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal if he didn't say such things. Like, yeah, it would sting, but I would get on with it. Because I do have feelings for him, and I'm a bit naive when it comes to relationships. And this thing with his gorgeous ex, I don't fear them getting back into together. I think he is so beautiful, but she is way out of his league. I'll be so real, can't even call her a 10/10. She's scale breaking. She had always been pretty, but she had that breakup glow up. Think of Eastern European models. She could easily be one if she isn't already on her way. They're never getting back together. Plus, he tells me it was a toxic relationship and neither of them would ever want to get back together. And I stalked, she has a boyfriend. But I feel not enough. If I was enough, he wouldn't keep those type of pictures of her. Or make a big deal about deleting them like saying he can't be bothered. Upon reflection, I've come to realize a number of concerning behaviors. He once tried to give me his ex's shirt to wear, which struck me as odd and inappropriate. He repeatedly professed his love for me before we met in person, during our initial meeting, and at random intervals throughout our time together. It seemed as though he would say it specifically when things were rocky between us, perhaps to keep me around. This made me feel uneasy, as the idea of someone loving me felt foreign, and I was unsure if it was genuine. I discovered him on dating apps not once, but twice. The first time, he assured me it was for a confidence boost and promised to delete them. However, I later found out he was still active on the apps, despite his assurances. He would frequently bring up other girls in conversation, seemingly to provoke jealousy in me. He often wasted my time by asking me to stay up for calls that never materialized. This left me feeling disappointed and led to unnecessary late nights, especially when I had important commitments the following day. I requested that he at least inform me if he couldn't call, so I could make other plans or get some rest, but this request went unheeded. He made comments that seemed to fetishize my race and sexuality, which made me uncomfortable. Though I initially thought it was a joke, it continued to the point where it became unsettling. When I expressed my discomfort to him and explained that I am more than just my racial and sexual identity, it didn't seem to resonate with him. These behaviors have caused me significant distress and have made me question the sincerity of our connection. He claims he just hasn't gotten around to deleting them, but told me he deleted all pics of her on Snapchat, and he has loads of photos in his camera roll so he doesn't see them. But he should have deleted them, not even for my sake but hers. Especially if he has already taken the time to delete them on Snap. I think it's weird to keep them kind of pictures of someone you're no longer with and haven't spoken to in nearly 2 years. I don't think her or her boyfriend would appreciate him having them pictures. I know I certainly don't. I'm kicking him out and ending it this morning. He made me feel bad by saying I'm all he has. But I'm trying to respect myself and stick with it. I have a bad habit of taking him back when he upsets me because I tell myself I'm being dramatic. But I don't feel respected and with everyone reinforcing what I've been thinking. I do think it's time to get rid of him. I think it is just hard because he is a lot of my firsts. Lastly, I do agree I need to work on my self-esteem. And I've made tremendous growth compared to where I was. I can leave the house, I can entertain the idea of dating. I don't fixate on stupid superficial things. I am a POC that grew up in very white areas in the 2000-2010s. Unfortunately, a lot of what I don't like about myself was instilled because I was different. I never saw representation of people who looked like me, like having very coily hair. I had this disgusting notion built into my head that because I'm mixed I should at least have loose soft curls and a lighter complexion and green/blue eyes. I hate that I ever thought that, it's so stupid. But now I wear my natural coily hair out. I don't have to try and cover up my face to try and hide it, and the fact I can say I know I'm not ugly is substantial growth from my childhood to teen years. I'm actually extremely proud and thankful for my mixed heritage. So I realized I had attachment issues, lol. I ended it, and then he was asking for us to not end, until he also agreed we should not see each other anymore. But then, I didn't want to end it because I loved him, and also had low self-worth, thinking he would be the only person to love me. With retrospect, he didn't love me, he just liked talking, and, not exclusively, but mostly he'd only really tell me he loved me when things were looking like they were going to end or if I said it first. He is the type of person to tell you what you want to hear. Anyways, time passed. I do still care for him, way more than I should, but my feelings for him have dwindled. I still miss him, but I don't love him. I lectured him a lot about how storing these photos was terrible. He gave stupid excuses like I can't be bothered, or I'm going to sort it when I get a new phone, as if iCloud doesn't exist. He is a liar, someone who tells you what you want to hear. He just agreed with me to shut me up. I had a feeling he probably still had them pictures even after he said he'd delete them. Surprise, he did not. When we stopped seeing each other one time, I asked him to delete what he has of me. He said he would. I come to find out he did not. Seems to be a thing he does. I messaged his ex and told her that he still has all them pictures. A part of me did feel bad, because again I still care for him, and I knew in doing this he'd never talk to me again, so that was kind of sad. But I thought if it was me in her position, I would want someone to do the same for me. I also asked many females what I should do. They all said, tell her obviously. So I did. She told me how she asked him to delete all her pictures when they broke up, and he said he would. This sounded very familiar. She thanked me for telling her. She called him and asked for a screen recording of him deleting everything, or she's calling his mom and letting her know what her son is up to. He eventually did. The gross thing is, he has 2 younger sisters. He tells me how he is scared for how they will be treated by men when they grow up. He is scared they'll encounter men like himself, Imo. He was very angry with me. Told me I was doing this all out of spite. He tried to play victim, which I found very pathetic, saying I didn't think this would blow up in my face again, and thanks for kicking me down lower than I already felt, as if he is the one who's been violated. Actions have consequences. I think he still thinks about her. I refer you to the fact that 1. He still had her pictures. 2. He tried to give me her shirt to wear. 3. He made her one of his playlist covers. When I told him that was weird, he changed it. 4. I had to ask him to stop talking about her. They were together for 3 years, and she is very beautiful. But 2 years had passed with no contact. She had very much moved on. Why couldn't he? Anyways, I know it was the right thing to do. I'm going through waves of, I'm glad I did it and I'm sad he is hurt. But he is not the victim. And this was a truly eye-opening experience to who he really is. A little bit of a perv, collecting girls' explicit pictures as if they're Pokemon cards. I need to have better standards for myself. So I'm going on a date in a couple days. I met this guy at Wireless in the summer. Nothing happened. I've only met him once cause he went to America for his placement year, and I was in a stupid on-again off-again prolonged sayutanship with the pictures of girls collecting guy. But he is back in the UK for Christmas. He is so wholesome and cute, funny. I'm punching FR, but he approached me? Crazy. And he is so sweet. He doesn't ask me for pictures. He doesn't want to have sex straight away. He'd rather build towards it, which makes me happy because I want the same thing. We're going to see Christmas lights, matcha lattes, food, and then I'm going to ask him if he wants to stay around mine so we can watch movies. He is very respectful, optimistic, and caring. He has sunflower energy. Also, he is good and doesn't drink, smoke, etc. I'm sober now, and being around someone who does that stuff is hard. Subscribe to the channel to follow this story further. We'll get 1,000 subscribers before the new year, okay? Love you.